I mean, you could go to any place around us right now and place an order and get a sandwich, a burger, whatever, and someone will bring it to you. Someone will take your order. You'll sit down, you'll leave, and you'll pay, and that's it. That's every restaurant. What we do differently is we lead with hospitality. Everything we do with the menu, with the way we serve guests, with the way we interact with them, we make them feel special, we make them feel important, and we're providing hospitality.
All right, here we go. Another episode of the Todd Boffo Show. And I'm honored to have with us one of the great restaurateurs from Scottsdale, but also some of the great restaurants around the world. They actually exist right here in Scottsdale. But Phil Lewkowicz, thank you for being here today, buddy.
Of course. Thanks for having me. Thanks for the invite.
The infamous, you're more infamous. You know, I joke about this. Sometimes when I meet people, I love getting introduced by great people, but I always check around. I like, from Jersey, you want to just do your fact checking a little bit. Man, everybody I've talked to, man, great things to say about you. So great. I'm glad to have you on the podcast today. And you are known for restaurants, operating and being a part of a couple really great restaurants, one that's operational, but another one that you just started. We're going to talk about that. But how did you get into the restaurant business?
I mean, we were kind of just thrown at it. So I've worked in restaurants. It was funny because coming into here, I went to a place called Paris Baguettes, whatever. I used to work there when it was called Atlanta Bread Company, doing pastries and stuff. But anyways, fast forward to today. So my family bought Café Monarch. It was existing in 2013. My brother used to work there, and my dad's always wanted to have his restaurant, so he bought it. I left my corporate job, and we just were thrown into it. So just figured it out as we went.
Right. Now, were you more so for your corporate job? Were you a numbers guy?
I was a big numbers guy. I was very competitive. I still am to this day. I was a salesman, and I was a top dog in the market. I was selling everything from cell phones to networks to software, cloud services. So I was a big geek. I was
really?
a nerdy
guy. So here's a great point. And for those of you watching, this is really good right out of the gate. So you're doing one thing, and then all of a sudden, you never were in the food business until you were in it.
Yeah. Never was in it. I was a busboy, and I was not good at it.
Really? But you like eating.
Yeah, of course.
You knew good food.
I knew where to get the good sandwiches, all of the above.
That's good. Yeah. So where did you grow up? Where are you from?
So I was born in El Paso, Texas. That's where my parents met. I was born there and went all the way to junior year. And then at the end of my junior year, we wanted to get out of El Paso. So we had some family that moved to Phoenix, and we'd come visit, and we really loved it here. And I don't think we ever came in the summers, though, so I never experienced the summer. When we moved out in 2001, the summer was pretty brutal, I remember.
Yeah.
But then I went to Brophy that fall, and that's where I graduated from in 2002.
Yeah.
And then I went to ASU, and that's where I met my wife. Yeah.
Wow. So what was that? What was the first date?
First date, I always tell this story, so...
And we're going to check with Megan to make sure this is correct. This is recorded, bro, so tell the truth.
Got to tell the truth.
I mean, you don't have to swear on a Bible, but just tell the truth.
So I moved out of my parents' house when I was pretty young. I think I was 19, and I got my first apartment at the Village on University. It was like this spot.
Right.
And I had a 3-bedroom apartment, and I was the only dude that lived there, so I had a 3-bedroom to myself. So I'd always throw pretty cool parties.
Right.
And I told a couple of my friends, hey, let's invite some girls over. So they did, like a friend of a friend of a friend, and one of them was Megan. So that's how we met, at one of my parties.
So did she like you right away?
No.
Or she had to warm up?
She did not like me. I was a nerd. And they hyped me up too. They're like, oh, Phil's got this apartment. Let's go to his apartment. So it's like everyone's hyping it up, and they're like, someone call Phil. No, you call Phil. No, you call Phil. So she's like, who's this Phil guy? So I open up the door, and she's like, in her head, she said, you're Phil?
Right.
So
that's funny.
I had to work it, and we went on a couple dates, and then I sealed the deal, I guess.
That's good. Dude,
Yeah.
come on, man. See that for all you guys out there. Don't give up.
Don't give up.
But also don't be creepy, okay? There's restraining orders. So respect that, respect wishes, but don't give up, right?
Don't give up.
Like don't give up. Hold on to your hope.
It was funny. You said don't be creepy. The night she gave me her number, I called her at 3 a.m. and I left her a
Don't do that.
like 2-minute voicemail, and I was singing to her too, I think.
Wow,
So.
that's a riot. We're gonna get into your singing here. You got a lot of talents. What was the catalyst like in college? Because this is one of the things we talk about on the podcast is people doing extraordinary things. We're gonna talk about the restaurant, the extraordinary thing pathway, but that's not how you started. And so many times, my dad used to say this: how you start is not gonna be how you finish, but you got to start to finish.
Yeah.
You can't talk about some great plan until you start on a great plan, and everything big starts small. So what was that track for you? Like when you were in college, what were you thinking in your life? What was Phil's plan?
I didn't really have a plan. Like I just, back going in college, well, first I went to ASU and I was pre-med. That was my major. So I thought I wanted to be a doctor. I always wanted to be successful. I always wanted to have a good career. So I go, okay, doctor. My dad tried to do it when he was when he was that age, but he never did it. And then I started to get really deep into organic chemistry and all those biology classes. And that's not what I wanted to do. It just wasn't what intrigued me. I didn't like it. I stopped going to classes. It wasn't my thing. I always also had jobs during college. I had sales gigs. So, I would more focus on that. And I switched it to pre-pharmacy. I didn't like that. Meanwhile, I was in bands, which I know we'll get into, but I was also doing that at the same time. At one point, I think I had 4 jobs, and that's what actually intrigued Megan. She's like, when I first met you, I think you had 4 jobs. She's like, and that's really what, not that she knew I was going to be this successful person, but she's like, I love the drive that you had, and I love that you wanted to get your hands in a lot of things.
No, you know what? When how you outplay nerdy coverage.
Yeah.
So any of you guys out there, one of the ways you're trying to meet that love of your life, one of the things is women like a guy that's got ambition.
Yeah.
And a guy that works hard. I do premarital, do a lot of couple stuff. And it amazes me how many times people come and they're like, hey, it just didn't work because like he just didn't have any ambition.
No drive,
he just didn't have any drive. It just didn't work. And like had other things, but like, so work really hard.
Yeah.
Have a vision. And if you don't have it all figured out, still do something. Yeah. And you'll get there.
And I didn't know what I was going to be in this life, and I still don't, but I have ambition and I have drive, and I'll figure. That's why I have so many companies. I joke with people. I have so many LLCs.
Right.
I think of an idea, I create something on the spot, which is another thing we'll get into. The sense of urgency, get stuff done. But, that's how my life got started. I was slinging car stereos at Brophy. I didn't really have any friends when I moved here, so I opened up an account in the West Side with some sketchy place, and I would resell Audiobahn, Rockford Fosgate, Boston Acoustics.
That's hysterical. Dude, you got the Jersey side hustle down,
dude.
bro. Like, this is funny because I always had this work ethic too when I was younger. We were always hustling. We were always doing, and it wasn't illegal. We were just doing different stuff and had side jobs. And I told you, how I went to chef school, worked in restaurants when I was in high school. And, it's amazing how now this time, the world we live in, if you just show up when you're supposed to be there and you just do what you're asked to do. They even say you don't do a lot extra, but you just show up.
Right.
And you're not a jerk.
Right.
And you just show up and you respond. You will be elevated in almost any kind of job that you take. I tell my daughter that all the time. I'm like, look, you don't have to be like, I wanted you to do extra, but if you just did that, you're going to shine. And when I was younger, I remember I started at Pine Valley Golf Club. So Pine Valley is still to this day one of the most prestigious golf clubs in the world.
In New York?
In New Jersey.
New Jersey.
So it's still ranked 1 or 2 in the world. Super private. Got to work with a great chef. And, I love food. I loved eating. And I really got introduced at the highest level, at a young age because it's like, I'm not working at McDonald's. Nothing wrong with that track. But
you're
most
around
people,
the right people.
You don't start there usually, but I just happened to. And then I was the only other Italian. So he's Italian. He looked like Pavarotti.
Yeah.
He was the funniest guy. He's a big character. And he's like, listen, here's how it works. He knew my dad. He said, listen, start washing pots.
Yeah.
And then with the old black gloves, this big thing.
The
So I was like,
silicone
all
ones.
right. And then I just thought it was cool. He's like, you can eat whatever you want, and this, that. And everything we had was the best. There was nothing that we had That food-wise, did we
Yeah.
ever cut corners?
Right.
Even at the time as a kid, I didn't realize this. I thought this was the coolest thing. Like, there were no prices on the menu.
Yeah.
It just was at whatever it was. Like,
Right.
and the members knew that. They just signed for it. And I remember that blew me away as a kid. I was like, oh man, so it's really focused on it's got to be the best. That's all
best
that
of the
matters.
best. Yeah.
And went from there, went to washing. Then I got elevated to dishwasher, then prep cook. Within like 3 months, I was already prep cook, and he was teaching me the line and everything. But that's where a lot of people, I think, get stuck. Because here's the thing. Whenever there's always a crawl, walk, run process to anything new. I don't care how old you are. You know, pickleball got famous. Well, until people started playing again, it's like you got to crawl, walk, run. Tell me about that process, because you shift gears from corporate. Now all of a sudden you're in the restaurant business. One, what motivated you to want to do that? And then maybe what were some of those crawl experiences, like once you jumped into it, that you had to kind of work through?
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to get out of the hustle of sales where, you know, I was always the top dog at AT&T. I mean, you could people listening and that know me will know that that's true. But I just disliked that every month you restart. Every month it's like, hey, you had a killer month, you were 1,200% to plan, but what do you got this month? And it's like, well, let me enjoy for a day or two. Like, I just crushed it. And,
Yeah.
you know, and this market with AT&T at the time was very small, so there was no room for, you know, to grow up. I'd have to. They kept telling me, "Hey, we want to move you up, but you got to maybe California. Maybe we could do a different market." And I wasn't going to move. But so that's what made me switch over to the restaurant. And when my parents bought it and took it over from the original guy, I thought, okay, I could come over here. I could implement all of my experience with technology, get us on Open Table, help elevate this with marketing, because I was always in bands as well, and I was really good at marketing. You know, making flyers and doing the Facebook events when that was a thing, things like that.
Yeah.
So I'm like, this will be fun to create something that could potentially be what it is today. But we never thought that it was going to get this big.
Right.
We just focused every day on, you know, hospitality.
So let me ask you this. Your first day, you're getting in there. Did you just stand at the door and just welcome people? Tell me about some of your first gigs in the restaurant. Because this is part of that crawl process, right?
Right.
Like, you don't just start like, I'm a restaurateur. You know, like,
Of course
like,
not.
Tell me about that. What have you
the
done in a
first-
restaurant?
The first day, I remember thinking, I have no idea what I'm doing. I remember before we had, first of all, I mean, rewind a little bit. The place had no liquor license. It was BYOB. So you'd go to Circle K, which is right behind us, to get a bottle of wine or booze, and then you
Right.
bring it over to the restaurant. That's how the old guy operated it. So we got the liquor license. We got all that stuff. But I remember at the very, very beginning, we would share the notebook. We would call it, actually it was a binder. It was a binder with all of our reservations, and the only way you could write on the binder is with the pencil, because when someone cancels, you got to erase it
Right.
with the pencil. So at the very beginning, I mean, I was lost. I didn't know what I was doing. At the I mean, literally the first day, I didn't know how to greet people. Didn't know. I wasn't confident. So people would walk in, and I wasn't sure what to do. And yeah, you're definitely crawling. You know, and you figure it out though. Like, I remember specifically one of the first nights that we owned the restaurant and we opened up. I always wanted to bartend, so you know, me being the party guy, I did cocktails. It's fun,
Yeah.
but people would come and order an old fashioned, a Manhattan. Never made one in my life. Didn't know what it meant. Never had ordered. I was just a Long Island iced tea guy.
Right.
That's what I would drink, and because it was cheap and it would get you, you know, kind of drunk pretty quick.
Right.
So I remember specifically this lady asked for a Manhattan. No idea how to make it. I had it on my iPhone, Googled it, figured out how to make it. Wasn't even sure if we have the right ingredients, but I still made it. And the bathroom was right by the bar. So when she went to the bathroom, she's like, "Did you make my Manhattan?" And I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "That's the best Manhattan I've ever had."
Oh, nice. Yeah.
I was like, "All right. Well,
Yeah.
fake it till you make it, I guess."
Right. Well, no, here's the great lesson from that, because it's crawling. You know, you've never done this before until you do it. And for anybody watching this is why I'm so glad to have you here today and be around great people like you, because life is a risk. Living is risky.
Right?
So let's just get that out there. But besides it being risky, it takes risks to grow. And you're going to have to, for some of you watching this, you're on that precipice where you're in a job, you're in something, in a circumstance. And it's not the circumstance that really fits you. You know, we talked about this about the book and prints that's coming out, you know, like really, it's really hitting people that are in that in between, like, hey, I know I'm living this life, life's decent, but it's not exactly where my fit is. And you knew there was something more. And then now you're in something new. And then you got to be willing to do the work. You have to be willing to put in the hustle. And we could talk about grind or hustle. It's not grind for the sake of grind. There's people that work really hard and don't accomplish much.
If you don't, I feel like the denominator is passion. If you're not passionate about what you're doing, you won't grind. If you're very passionate about what you're doing, you will grind. And I wake up every day, and I wake up at 5:30 in the morning, and I bust out my laptop and I'm working, not because I have to, but because I want to.
Yeah.
I want to see how hard I could take this.
Yeah.
And so you have to have passion.
That's good. If you don't have a reason to do it, you find a reason not
to do it. Exactly.
So, you know,
I mean, I would love to sleep in till 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
That sounds great, but I don't want that right now. I want to do it. I want it.
Yeah.
So you got to want it.
Yeah. So you jumped in. I mean, Monarch's one of the most famous restaurants, not just here, but in the nation.
Yeah.
And recognized worldwide. And then you get the season again where you're like, it's ready for another shift. I'm getting ready to crawl again.
Yeah.
So tell me about that experience. So you had this idea, concept, you know, for the Belmont. So tell me about that.
Yeah. So Monarch has been a staple for 13 years now, and we've grown it to where it is now. We actually moved buildings. We have another concept called Reserve. It does well, but I've always wanted to do more. So I've pitched my family many times to do different kinds of restaurants. So high-end Mexican, high-end whatever the case is. And we go and look, and there's been some opportunities where we're literally down to the last signature, and someone has a change of heart, or someone doesn't want to do it. So I went through that for about, 3 or 4 years with the family, and I finally, wanted to do and branch out something on my own. So my wife and I found this opportunity in North Scottsdale, since we live in the area, and we knew there was really a void with this kind of dining. So we saw the opportunity. We aligned with the right people. We brought my best friend in, my business partner, Neil, and he's the one that pushed me. If it wasn't for Neil, again, being around the right people, I always thought with my family, it's a lot of different dynamics in my family, and I always thought that was okay, that was fine. You know, like you said, I'm fine. It's not a big deal. I had a good life. We were making good money. I wasn't truly happy, but it was fine.
Right.
But once Neil came into my life, he really did change it, and he inspired me to want to do more and be happy and be at peace and just think grand scale, and he pushed me to do it.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't for him, we wouldn't be here. I wouldn't have met you, and we wouldn't be here.
And this is where I think it's important. You got to pay attention to seasons of your life, and seasons involve people. And, seasons are great, but they change. Life changes. Life is full of changes. Everything you and I have, the gifts, the talents we have, we should be growing them.
Right.
We should be evolving. And it's not even just about money. Yeah, you should, when you're 20, you should grow financially, but it's not the main motivator, not to me.
Yeah.
It's really more about when I'm in this season of my life, am I becoming who I want to become?
Right.
And not ignoring that. Like, what does that life look like? What we were talking about a little bit earlier. Like, hey, what do I value most in my life? What do I want that life to look out? And just going out and building that. People build things all the time.
Right.
And it's scary.
Right.
And it's not a guarantee. And the restaurant business especially, I always admired it. I mean, I was in the food business. I always knew I would work in other areas. But my grandfather really wanted me to get a restaurant. I remember telling him, I'm like, listen, I would go. I just don't think that's definitely not for me. It's not I'm anti. It's just, you need to know that's what you need to do.
You have to be wired.
Because it's not.
It's very difficult.
And it's the hours, it's the time, it's the people, it's the food, and things change. The percentages of failure rate is just high. I mean, it's just real. Let's not lie. I mean, it is.
Right.
But how do you innovate? What do you think some of the secrets are innovating in that kind of a competitive industry for people that are watching? Maybe they want to take a shift. And they're like, I think, look, this is a big thing for a lot of people, why they don't shift. They're like, well, there's already a bunch of people doing it.
Right.
Well, so what?
Right.
You're not the other people. When you show up, if you're dialed in, you're going to show up, because when you show up different. If you're dialed in and have vision. But give us a couple thoughts on how you can be and lead that competitive advantage in an industry that is crowded.
Yeah. I mean, you could go to any place around us right now and place an order and get a sandwich, a burger, whatever, and someone will bring it to you. Someone will take your order. You'll sit down, you'll leave, and you'll pay, and that's it. That's every restaurant. What we do differently is we lead with hospitality. Everything we do with the menu, with the way we serve guests, with the way we interact with them, we make them feel special, we make them feel important, and we're providing hospitality. And I think I don't have a special or secret sauce. That's what it is. It's hospitality. I'm very passionate. I'm there every day looking at how I could be better than the day before, whether that's with different types of food, different types of glassware, different types of light bulbs. It could be anything, but it's constantly seeking that every single day and leading with hospitality. I mean, that's what distinguishes you from any other place.
So I think this is something else. I think there's one thing to say, I want this, and the other thing is I think it's just in alignment with who you are, because you were already hospitable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm saying like anybody can become more hospitable, but where do you think you learned that part from? Where did that come from? Just being hospitable?
I think it came from my mom. We were always the house in the whole family that we would host everything. So we were where Christmas was. We were where Thanksgiving was. Every birthday party of my cousins was at my house. So it came from that. It came from my mom. My mom really likes to please everyone, so much that sometimes she forgets about herself.
Right. Yeah.
And that's a separate conversation, but that's where it comes from.
Well, and you got your second generation here. So your dad's Argentinian.
Yeah.
Your mom is from...
she's from San Diego, but she grew up in Mexico City.
Mexico City.
Yeah.
So she has that lineage.
Yes.
Right? So I find this fascinating because there's very few people groups. I'm Italian, but coming in, I feel like Italian and Latin America in general is very similar because it's very family oriented and nobody starves. Every grandmother, a nona, abuela, abuelita is like, you need to
Feeding
get more.
you.
Yeah. I'm in Mexico City. We're doing these meetings, and we stayed at we're at my buddy's house, and his mom is there, right? So we get back late. It's like midnight, and I'm like, we get back, and I'm hungry, and I'm like, hey, dude, let's just grab something. I said, I'll just cook something. He goes, no, you can't touch the kitchen, man.
Yeah.
We'll get in trouble. He goes, no, I'll be back. He literally goes up, wakes up his mom. She comes down like a house dress, and she's got a big smile on her face, and she's like, and then she's...
¿Qué quieres, mijo?
Yeah. I'm not joking, bro. Within 40 minutes, 45 minutes...
We have tortillas.
We got steak. We got, chorizo, eggs. And then she couldn't do enough. And then, I was like,
where it comes
of
from.
course, like everything, I ate everything because it was like unbelievable. But it reminded me of that. And I think that this is an area of business. I don't care what you do. We are in the people business.
Yes.
Every entrepreneur, every business person, if you've been around me long enough, church, you are in the people business. Now, you might be an introvert. That's okay. You may be a person that struggles with people, but you're in the people business. The better you can be at that, and I've been in the restaurant. You do a great job interacting with people and making people. This is the two most important things that somebody could do. I used to do this training for customer service, and we had the top 10 commandments. We're not going to go through all of them.
Yeah.
But one is to make people feel seen and heard.
Yes, that's very important.
Because in most people's lives, they don't necessarily feel that way.
Yeah. Right.
On their jobs or making just people, you don't need to go overboard, but making people feel seen and heard and be legitimate. You have a legitimate heart. It's not fake. It's not phony. Right. But the more you can become that, it's a great, it makes all the difference. And I remember like the Jersey restaurants that I used to go to, some of the ones that were there for years, they had that level of hospitality, and everybody says they have hospitality. No restaurant says they don't.
Of course.
But there's a difference. It's not a mantra, and it becomes a culture. Right. So talk about that for a little bit. Like, how have you built, or how did you lead that? You're opening up the restaurant. You're saying, hey, this is what we want this to be. What does that look like in getting everybody on board?
I read something the last couple days, and it really, really gave me chills. And for many, many years, I wanted to find or seek success or hospitality. Right now, I'm attracting it. I literally attracted all of my team. we have some major news that we're dropping in the next couple days, and that came from attraction. So we have a really, really well-known chef that's coming over to the restaurant. He's a 2 Michelin star, James Beard Award. He's a veteran in the industry. I still can't believe he's gonna go work for the restaurant and work for me. But to answer your question is, I attract it now. So because people see the level of hospitality that my whole family I was bringing, and whether you know me personally or you knew me like through a friend, through Rex.
Yeah, Rex was awesome.
Yeah.
That's been great. Thank you, Rex.
Yes, Rex is an amazing human being.
And he knows restaurants and he knows people.
And he's a great guy. He's just one of those guys you're like, I just love being around him because his energy, and his wife, like, they don't know this, but they really do have a really big effect when I see them and when I feel, when you feel someone and you feel that energy.
Yeah.
So I try to give that energy to everyone else. And so, when we open up this restaurant, that was my biggest thing, though. Who are people going to come work all the way in North Scottsdale? Because it is far away. And let's face it, they don't live close. And when we put up an ad for Indeed and for all, Instagram and all that, I was just flooded with people that wanted to work here. And they didn't even know what it was going to be. I didn't know what it was going to be. At first, Belmont was going to be a lunch spot. It was going to be like a chop shop because I love lunch, and that's what it was going to be. And so I was still going to do Café Monarch, and I was going to do this on the side and do lunch. And that everything kind of just reshifted and changed into a dinner spot. But again, I don't know if that answered your question, but
no, it's good.
The hospitality is me providing excellent hospitality to all friends and family, and people truly see like, hey, this is me. This is really who I am. It attracts them. They want to be part of it.
Again, I'm going to touch on this again. I don't know who needs to hear this. You don't have to have it all figured out to start.
Yeah. Right. I definitely did not have it figured out.
If you and I are like, hey, we're going to walk to Tempe, which we're not, but if, let's say we're going to walk to Tempe.
Well, Waymo
we
there.
don't. Exactly. We have to take a couple steps first, and then a couple more, and then a couple more, and then a couple more.
Yeah.
It's like, don't get hung up with what you don't have or the resources. Yes, there's a timing and flow, but you will never have it all together. You'll never have it all figured out. It'll never be like, oh, I got everything I need. I guess I'll go do that. That's not how life works.
No. By that time, you're going to be in a stretcher. You're not going to be able to do anything, or you're going to be so exhausted and be like, never mind.
And that idea of risk and regret, one of my posts recently, talked about that. And this is even for me and the stuff that I'm doing. If you don't take the risk, you got to hear me on this, and I know you believe this.
Yes.
Regret weighs way more than risk ever will.
Yeah.
And you don't want to get to that point to where I should have done that. The one thing we cannot make more of is time. One of the greatest gifts we were ever given by God is time. It's life. And we don't get to pick when it's over, but we do get to pick what we do with it. We have a chance and a choice every day we wake up, and it's like we don't want to waste it. So let's talk about one of the things. I love the menu, by the way. I've been there several times. First of all, what's your favorite thing on the menu?
Oh God,
Or do you?
I don't really have one, but I will say that the Argentinian filet mignon is the best beef I've ever had. It's so clean. It tastes great. It's got tons of flavor.
Yeah.
So I'd have to say that I'm a big artichoke freak. I love everywhere. Any restaurant I go, I see artichokes, I'm ordering it. I don't care what restaurant it is. I don't care if it's at a Chinese restaurant. I see artichokes, I'm gonna order it.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah. So the artichoke flowers we do are really, really good. But yeah, everything's premium.
So
as you know,
I love when I was there. You're like, hey,
the pork,
the Iberico pork.
Yes,
I'm like,
I knew you were gonna.
You're like, oh, I got a ribeye, but we got the chop, the Rex coming.
Yeah.
So I've had both. Those are fabulous.
Yeah, those are next level. The Iberico pork ribeye and the Iberico pork rack is what you had.
Yeah.
High quality pork. A lot of people are scared to eat pork, but when domestic stuff's different, but European stuff, it's just so much better, and it's bomb.
It is. What do they? And they feed them acorns.
Yeah, they feed them acorns. So and these pigs, when you look at them, they're gross looking. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, for real? All right, I'm not Googling that, dude.
They're just
I like the way it is right now.
Yeah, massive pigs.
Yeah.
But that's how they were raised in Spain, and it's like going back to thousands of years, hundreds
Right.
or thousands of years, and it's great product. That's why, if we went to Spain last March, we went to Sevilla, and all I ate was pork, and it was so freaking good.
Really?
And I
good.
don't know if it's probably not that healthy for you, but it's great.
Well, I mean, everything in proportion.
Everything. Right, portion.
So
yeah.
I think one of the hidden gems there, because even at dinner time it's there. I think I told you this one night. I was at a meeting. I stopped by. I got the burgers, your Wagyu burger, because I'm a big burger fan. One, working in the butcher shop, we used to grind. We used to mess around with different grinds, and so I've always been a burger fan. And what people don't realize is, I mean, there's a lot of different burger blends.
Yeah.
And
there's
different quality.
thousands.
Yeah, I mean, it's like we see burger.
Yeah.
And I've done everything from work in a butcher shop where we're creating blends for restaurants to creating it for ourselves to eat to working in a chain supermarket because I was trying to earn extra money. So one of my side gigs was because I knew how to cut meat. I told the guy, I was like, hey, I said, if you guys ever need anybody, like I'll just jump in and cut meat if I'm available just so I can make extra money. So I literally joined the meat cutters union just so I could have my side gig, and they would call and I would just drive to the supermarket. So I worked in supermarkets too. So I've seen every aspect of that, and but that burger is really good. And what was that? That's an A5?
That is a Mishima American Wagyu blend that I get custom blended for us, and then it's sitting on a brioche bun I get from Breadworks, which is out of Prescott.
Yeah.
It's some of the best bread I've ever had. We carry their bread exclusively. And then it's my version of an In-N-Out burger, honestly. So it's got the caramelized onions, it's got the homemade like Thousand Island, whatever you want to call it.
Now that you mention it, I didn't even think of it like that. That's a great way.
Tomato, and that's basically, I love In-N-Out, so that's kind of like my version of it, but elevated with Wagyu.
Yeah, I mean it's a phenomenal burger. If you were to describe your restaurant as a human, what would you say?
I'm not
the
a
person,
human?
What would be not you? The restaurant was a real person. You're describing this other child of yours, which has become a child of yours. What would be the personality? How would you describe its personality?
I would describe it, and I tell this to everyone. It's a happy, positive, loving person. That's what the Belmont is.
Yeah.
It's where you go to, you have a good time. It's where you go and you're treated like family. It's where you go and you're happy to bring your friends, just like Rex did, because it makes you feel special. So it's a very positive, happy person. That's what Belmont is.
Yeah, and I think too, what makes that is you can be comfortable there. Like you can dress comfortable, which I love getting dressed up.
Yeah.
But the food is elevated.
Yeah.
But the environment is just
It's just chill. And
yes.
we won't let you in like a swimsuit and a jersey, but I want you to be comfortable. I don't, the last 13 years of my life, I was accustomed to ultra high-end fine dining, and I love it. It's my background. I've learned a lot from it, but it's not who I am. I'm more of a casual, outgoing, chill person, and Monarch was just so high stress fine dining. It's like when you walk up and go to the bathroom, do you walk with your hands behind your back? Do you know what I mean? That kind of a vibe. And it's I mean, there's a place for that.
It's great. Yeah,
it's a great thing. You go with an anniversary, birthday, or it's great. I'm not saying it's not, but you go every day to a spot, and it's you just feel good to be there, and you can be comfortable. That's me. That's who I am.
So when you look at the pressures of starting, what was your biggest mindset shift that you had to make when you were like, all right, I'm leaving Monarch, I'm going to start this, I'm going to go ahead and do it. But for you, that wrestling, what were some of the things that you had to overcome?
Well, Monarch and with my family, it's a very interesting family dynamic. We are all on different aspects of our lives.
Sure.
And so it's really tough. Monarch to me wasn't just a restaurant, it's a whole family, and it's not, it wasn't the best of situations. My family is just very divided, there's a lot in it. There's a lot of drama. Not drama. Well, yes, drama.
I mean, challenges, family.
I mean,
every business
I'm thinking of it's just, it's just not a great place for me. It wasn't a great place for me and my family. So the biggest challenge when I was thinking of doing another restaurant is, what's my family going to think? How are they going to react? And and what's going to happen. And I was blindsided with a lot of things, but at the end of the day, I was seeking happiness and peace and doing my own thing.
You knew
with my
something
wife.
inside of you knew.
Yeah, I knew.
You had to go. It's not always as much as I'm running. It's not running from anything. It's just I'm being pulled to something else.
Yeah.
It's a stage in my life. This is who I'm becoming.
I put it up to God, Todd. I truly did. Neil was put into my life. He pushed me. A few other people did, but you know, Rex's golf coach. We shared the same golf coach, Dan Campbell. I sent him a text the other day, very emotional text, just thanking him because he wanted me really badly to get away from basically my family.
Right.
And you know, we'd always have a golf lesson, and we would meet for an hour and a half, and about 45 minutes of it was just talking about my life and maybe hitting a ball. So it was just like a therapy thing for me, and it was great.
That's cool.
And that was the biggest challenge, though, is just, you know, like I told you, I was in a really good, you know, financially, I was really good. I was comfortable with doing what I was doing. It was the same thing every day, which was good and bad. You know, it killed me a little bit inside doing the same thing every day, knowing I could do more.
Right.
Knowing I literally would call my wife from my office because I had nothing else to do sitting in our office because I automated everything. And I'm like, I feel like I'm wasting my life. I need to do more. So that's why we have a house flipping company. That's why we have a pool company, because I'm like, I need to go do something else. Like I can't just sit in an office and pretend to be busy. Like I'm already done with work. Let me go do something else.
Yeah.
And so that's what my father and I always were head to head, you know, battling out because, you know, he's old school. He wants to see you in there working 40 hours a week, just sitting there. He's like, hey, if you just want to sit there, that's fine, but I need you here. I'm like, that's just not, that's not productive, and that's not helping me grow.
Well, let me say this for everybody watching. I appreciate you sharing that because there's so many people who are going to watch this. They're in a similar position, and that is, you know, I love the idea of calling. You know, like I'm called to do something. The Bible kind of talks about this. We're created to do something or for good work, to do good works. It says to glorify our Father which is in heaven, that people can see that. So I'm created to do something. And builders, like you're a builder, some of our friends, they're builders. You're never going to stop building. And once you build to a certain level, you need to go build something else.
Something else.
You just have to. Now, that doesn't mean everybody. It doesn't mean you build halfway and you jump to something else. That's a whole nother thing that's not good. The reality, though, is that you're building on one level to get to that level, and you're building on another. Like you're meant to build on the next level. And you can't ignore that little voice inside of you that's calling you forth. And I would also say this. For the season you're in, there's a grace on our life to do it. There was a grace on your life to take that first step in that chapter of your life. Even from God's perspective, there's a grace to just operate and do what you did and automate and go through all the stuff that you did, right? Blood, sweat, and tears to actually make it work and your contribution to it, put wind in the sails. But then there comes a point where the grace lifts because it's moving to the next thing. And so that becomes like, man, it doesn't feel the same. Like what was fine 3 years ago, it's not fine anymore. And I'm not a jerk. It's not me. It's not even the other people as much as it is. It's lifted to something else.
Yeah.
And now my time is coming. And my calling, it's not a conference call. What I'm called to do isn't it's not for everybody else is always going to be on board with it. Regardless. And even some people that might love me, it's not a conference call. It's for me. So I need to be cognizant for everybody watching, just a quick sermonette minute, you know, don't ignore that call, don't ignore that feeling, don't ignore that. Some of you have been push it down. At some point, you got to start leaning into it. Say, I'm open to whatever God wants to do in my life. I want to be open to opportunities. I want to be open to taking risks because I'm not meant to be. That's a sign you're just not meant to be there for this season. And even if it seems okay, it's not going to be your fit for the future. So.
I mean, yes, amen to that. And I can't relate more. You know, I relate so much to what you just said because I look back now and close my eyes and picture Phil back then, and I was destined to do something else. And whether it's this restaurant or I don't even know what it is yet, but I know that, you know, especially with me trying to do more restaurants with my family and like, okay, like we got this running to like a machine, let's go do the next thing. And just no one was on the same page. And, you know, it's just you're destined for something else. And it was a calling and it's fine. And like I tell my mom, it's okay that you guys didn't want to do anything else. That's totally fine. I get it. You guys are older now. Like you want to be more chill. But I don't. I want to, you know, I need to go do more. And I'm seeking it and I have this fire inside of me.
Right.
And so anyways,
Yeah. What's one of the things you look at from the restaurant business, something that you've started so far that just did not work? you went to Belmont, you're like, all right, we need to redo this. I don't know if you can share something. I'm
Yeah.
not trying to look for like dirt, but I'm just curious.
No.
Like, well, you're like, man, we went to start, but this is not, it was a fail, right? Or just didn't work.
Yeah, I mean, I think I've been in food and beverage for so long. I've already been there, done that. But I think what I've learned at the Belmont is with people. So, I put a lot of effort and to certain individuals. I won't say their name, but it just totally was a fail, epic fail. It was just people that, weren't on my same level or weren't on any level. I don't know what level they're on, but it just wasn't the right fit. Of course, there's always like dishes that I could put out and I think they're great, but maybe the masses don't like it, and but it's never been an epic fail. I watch the trends, I watch everything. Again, I wake up every day and I'm constantly just consuming stuff and content and studying things. And so it's not like I just throw stuff on the wall and see what sticks. But I think it's with people.
Yeah. Well, and
that's
I
what
think
it is.
too, it's good because you have to know we're in the world of people. Everybody, like even if I love somebody, love's not enough.
Yeah,
I'm building
and I mean, like
teams
these
and
people,
I have missions, right? So
Right.
if it's not the right fit for my mission, that's okay. But I need to find the right fit for my mission. It's like you need to have standards. One of the cool things was back when I was in one of the restaurants, we worked for Chef Shoop. Chef Shoop was CIA instructor. That's the Culinary Institute of America, folks, not the government.
That's right.
And he was famous. He was a master chef, which there's only so many of those. But he was so nice, but he had a really high standard. Like some of those guys I work with, some of the guys that were in the Food Olympics and stuff back in the day, they just had really high standards. And the best people they still were cognizant of people, but they still had high standards. Some of the chefs that I work with, a few of them, didn't care about people, but they had high standards. I actually I was going to intern with I don't think he's alive anymore, but it was a French restaurant, which back in the day, they were just so huge. Like everything was that, right?
Okay.
In Philly, Lebec Finn. It still is to a degree, but back then, so this chef, I go and meet with him and he's telling me how great he is and how great it would be to work with him. And he's going on and on and on. And you just got to remember, like, I'm a 19-year-old kid from Jersey. I'm impressed, but I'm not.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't even know what this means.
I'm here. Like, I need an internship. I need to make money, bro. Like, I'm helping pay for stuff for my life.
Yeah.
Like, I get it. And I'm not a jerk, but I want to learn.
Yeah.
And I'll be humble to learn. But like this is feeling really weird.
Yeah.
You're just going on about how great you are. Like, I'm just a kid. Why are you talking? Like, it just felt so weird.
Right.
And I remember he's like, and like the privilege, like, and it was like no money, which wasn't uncommon. Right. To work.
It's common. Nowadays, it's not that much, but yes.
But I needed money. Like, I had to pay for stuff. So it was so funny. And I was like, I just had this thing. I'm like, and then I started checking with other friends and like, man, this guy is he's a jerk.
Yeah.
It's one thing to have standards and keep people accountable.
Right.
But then care about people.
Right.
And the best leaders, even the Bible said, if you want to be great, be a servant of all. Servant leadership stands out. Again, it's not difficult necessarily. It's hard to follow through on every day and be consistent with it. And be like, hey, that's one of the markers of my life. And we all start with building something. So if you want to be a servant leader, then you start doing the things that servant leader. So one of the things outside of this, some people might not know that you actually sing and you were in bands. So what was that about too? What was?
Yeah, that started when I was a kid in choir, doing it at church back in El Paso. But I never knew I could sing until probably, I don't know, in my early 20s, doing karaoke and stuff. And then it led to meeting musicians, and it led to putting a band together with my brother and some friends. And we would go on tour. We would, we have albums that were produced really, again, everything I did, I always try to do it the best I possibly can with what I have. So I feel like if you listen to our stuff, even from back in the day, it's well done. It's done really well. It's not like a garage band with, a cassette player. It's really well done.
Yeah.
So, it evolved from there. Again, it all goes towards the hospitality. It built
I was just going to say that. Yeah.
Yes.
So tell
being
me about
the lead guy. I was the lead singer, and I was the manager. I was the agent. I was the DJ. I was, ladies and gentlemen, that guy.
Right.
Because I did weddings. I had a wedding band. I had a corporate band. I would do ball. So, I did everything.
Do you think, looking back at your life, like going back through you've done a lot of different things, and brought you to where you are today. Are you a routine person? Like every day? Are you like, kind of calculated, or are you super flexible? How would you describe
I
that,
think I'm
that
a little
routine to accomplish all the stuff you are?
Yeah, I'm a little bit of both, but I am probably 80% routine and 20%. You know, like today, you said, "Hey, I'd love for you to come this week."
Yeah.
I had stuff. You know, I didn't even know what I had this week because I kind of took an off week. But I'm like, yeah, I'll be there.
Yeah.
So, but I'm a routine guy. I wake up. I like to have my cup of coffee open on my laptop every single day, and I have my routine of what I do with work on all my stuff. I read scripture. I wake up every morning and I have something waiting in my inbox and I read it, and it always seems to, I mean, it's supposed to, but it always feels like it was meant for me at that exact second when I opened up my phone.
Yeah.
But the routine, I love it. You know, I go to work, I come home, I'm with the, you know, I spend as much time as I can with the kids. Being in the restaurant industry, you know, you definitely aren't home as much, but I try to make it a priority to be home. And my kids are older now. You know, one of them works there. She's 16. So now I get to see her at work, which is amazing. Cool. And the other ones are 13 and 10. So, but, you know, we see each other a lot. And But yeah, I'm a routine guy.
I think this is why it's important to outline what you value most. When I talk about this a lot, like when I think about this print book coming out and like course stuff I have, part of it is a big part of this because we are going to have a life. We're going to create a life. It's just that most people aren't super intentional about it. And so, for instance, you know, at least a lot of entrepreneurs don't realize what they end up doing is just creating a job.
Yeah.
That's a huge mistake because maybe it's driven by money or other things. Now, yes, we have to grind and work hard, but if you have a family, if you have kids, that's your first job.
Right. To be dad.
Yeah,
and to
you're
be
a dad.
husband.
Now, that doesn't mean, what does that mean? What means you do provide? It does you do work.
Right.
And there's flows to that where certain seasons of life, you're starting something, it's going to be more time. But, you know, you need to outline, this is who I want to be first. I want to be this guy. I want to be, this is what's important to me, whether it's family time. And everybody gets to create whatever they want. Yeah. The reason is because if you don't create that first, then if you're just going after what I want to do, what I want to have, I could get that, but then not be the person I really want to be while I'm in it. So I may have all the stuff or have things working, but then I'm not the person that I'm really happy with, you know, or that I really want to be. Let me ask you a question. If you could have dinner with anyone, you could sit down and have dinner with anyone, dead or alive, like anybody, who do you think it would be?
I think it would be my grandparents, my grandma, my grandpa.
Yeah.
They've always been my biggest supporter, and they're not around anymore. And I would love to show them what I've done in the last few years since they've been gone. I really would.
Wow.
That would be what you know, they shaped who I am today. My mom's parents. I was very close to both of them, and you know, I still, everything I do every day with the routine, everything you say, now that I'm like thinking, that's my grandpa. That's what he did every single day. He'd go on a 5-mile walk every single day.
Wow.
He would always tell me, Philip, make sure you pay your taxes. Yes, they suck, but just pay your taxes. Make sure you pay your mortgage on time. Make sure this, make sure that. And I have everything perfect because of him. And my grandma was hospitality, was abuelita, that when I came into her house, she made me feel like I was the biggest deal in the world. Even as an adult, she'd come into my house and she was just so proud of what I've done and the hospitality. Here, I made you beans. Her signature thing was like a bean dish, pork and beans, but not like pork and beans.
right. Not white bread America pork and beans. It's a little different.
But, I mean, there's obviously other people, but those would be the people. I think about it every day. I wrote her a song when she passed away, and you know, I always think about them every single day.
Yeah, I love that because I had a really special relationship with my grandparents too. My mom's grandmother lived with us for a while, but my grandfather and my grandmother on that side, Italian side, they were great people, and they're both different in some ways. You know, my grandfather, similar, you know, was just hard worker, consistent, was successful with what he did, and then my grandmother and I was the firstborn. And out of all the grandkids, I'm kind of the best. I'm not gonna lie.
Course.
Like, it just is what it is. I mean, I can't. There's no sense.
Well, here we're the best, baby.
It's people are jealous of the son. That's all I'm gonna say. Like they don't like it too. No, but we always had a great relationship. And summers I would spend with her, and we were both talkers, and she was always so interested in what I was doing. Yeah. And one of the people, if I was to say, that's why I was sitting here listening to, and I don't want to get choked up about it, but I'm like, I'm so grateful. Yeah. I wish. I just said that to somebody recently. I wish I could call her on the phone or FaceTime from heaven and be like, hey, here's what's going on. Because she would be so proud. Like she
Yeah.
just would be.
Yeah.
And she would probably be amazed at just like how
Or
far my
just
life
be
has
like, hey,
gone, and just like,
I'm not amazed. I knew you were going to do it.
Exactly.
And that's how I feel
exactly.
like
Exactly.
like,
yeah.
That's awesome.
And especially coming from a place where they didn't have a lot. My grandparents, like where they started, wasn't great. You know, they were immigrant kids and stuff like that, but just what they were able to do and accomplish. And it's one of the things that I think about. Even sometimes I wear one of my suits. I still have a handkerchief that's my grandfather's.
Yeah.
That every time certain things, I'll just wear it to certain occasions just to remind me of what a gift and also to push me.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not proving anything for anybody, but again, you don't want to ever live less than what you can live, because you don't want to put ceilings on your life. Let God do that. Let God say, hey, here's where limits. Live within these, you know, but we live in a limitless life. There's a lot of opportunity.
Yeah.
You know, people talk about money. Well, aliens didn't take money from the planet. It's all right here.
It's all here.
It's all here.
It's all for
And I love what
yours.
you said about attracting, because, you know, you attract who you are, just in general. You know, and so if that circle doesn't look right, as
you
we
get
talked
what
about
you
post-
put out. I mean, it's huge.
yeah. And so, you know, life is really short. If you were to, we'll be wrapping up here. If you were to look at your life and you were able to, at the very end, you know, really script it, because I do a lot of funerals.
Okay.
And, you know, what were some of the things that you would want to be known for? Like, what are you hoping
Ooh,
to
that's deep.
accomplish?
I do think about
Like,
this from time to time.
Yeah. Which it's wise, only because we shouldn't be scared of death, but we will. Everybody's going to pass away. We're one day closer today than we were before.
Yeah.
I shouldn't obsess. I should obsess over living, not dying.
Right.
But I should live in such a way that I want this to be said of me, because we're writing the story. That's what's going to kind of be said.
Yeah. I want people to remember me as the guy that walks into the room and makes everyone happy.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I want to be remembered as, is I bring the positive energy and the happiness into the room. And no matter where I go, no matter who it's with, I mean, I'm getting chills right now.
Right.
That's who I want to be known as, the guy that's, you know, happy guy, happy life.
Yeah.
But more importantly, makes everyone around him happy. Because again, you like what I just said, you get what you put out, you get in return times 10. And I'm literally living proof of that right now. So that's it.
Yeah. Bro, I
don't really care about the money comes and goes. I get money, and trust me, it goes out 10 times faster. But money isn't everything. And I look at people and I reflect on people in my life, whether they're in my family or just strangers, and they obsess over money, and they are the most miserable people I've ever met in my life. And I feel terrible about it, but there's nothing I could do.
Right. No. And man, I really appreciate you taking the time today, spending some time with me. I love what you're doing with the restaurant. I'm excited about what's coming up. Do you want to tell people where the restaurant is, just real quick? We'll have it tagged. But
yeah. It's called Belmont Kitchen and Cocktails. It's on the corner of Pima and Pinnacle Peak. It's in North Scottsdale. It's right across the parking lot from Mastro's Steakhouse. That's the first Mastro's when the family owned it back in the day. That's store number 1.
Gotcha.
So it's you know, about
Right by
7 minutes from the 101. And I'll say it here first. So we do have a brand new chef that's starting.
Yeah, this is going to come out.
This is going to be
after the announcement.
Okay.
So go ahead, let us know. What is this? This is exciting.
We have 2-star Michelin chef Alex Strada. He's coming over. He had a couple Michelin star restaurants in Las Vegas. He was the executive chef of Mary Lane's at the Phoenician back in the day. He's worked all over the world. He's trained under the best of the best in Europe and France and Italy, Monte Carlo. Like, you name him, you look up this guy, and he is legit. He started with us a couple days ago, and again, I attracted him. I didn't seek him, and I am just so blessed beyond belief to, again, not knowing. I was scared going into this. I didn't have all the answers when I opened up this restaurant, and now I have a 2-star Michelin chef working for me. That is unbelievable.
Yeah. And how long's the restaurant been open?
4 months.
Come on. If you're watching this, I know we're at the end of it. Just give a quick clap to yourself in the car or in bed, wherever you're watching it, or at the gym. But, man, I wish you nothing but the best.
Thank you.
And may
very
God
much.
bless you, keep you, may his face shine upon you.
Thank you.
Continue to bless you in every way and keep you and your family. Keep up the good work. I can't wait to try out whatever new comes out on the menu.
And he's Italian.
Oh, Whoa, come on.
He gave me the best. So I know
Okay.
we're wrapping up, but
No, it's
really
okay.
quick.
We're good. Yeah. You
he-
just bought yourself more time. Are you kidding?
He came in. This happened so quickly. So Monday he called me. Wednesday he called me. Tuesday we talked again. Thursday he flew out here from Florida. He cooked for me the best food I've ever had in my life. And I've had
You've had the
fine
best of the
dining.
best, yeah.
I've had the best of the best.
Yeah.
He's cooked the best food I've ever had in my life. We hired him. I was like, I told my wife after he left, I'm like, how is it? This is a dream. This can't be happening. This can't be happening. Anyways, he was going to start the next week, but he called me the next day and says, hey, I changed some stuff. I'm starting tonight. I said, Chef, please, I wanted you to start yesterday, so you're a day late. I told him. And he did 2 specials that night, just busted them out. Using products that we've had there that we haven't moved or that we got in, but our guy wasn't working out. It was the best gnocchi and guinea hen I've ever had, ever. And the way he was breaking the guinea hen was like watching a robot from like 2055. I couldn't believe this guy was his age. He's not that old, but he
like
was
a
working like
machine.
a 15-year-old master butcher. And then he made this pasta that's why I'm getting to. This pasta he made that's called peachy. I don't know how you spell it. It's not like a peach, but it's a pasta that has mascarpone, ricotta, flour, and egg. It was like a long, thick noodle with a classic marinara, like pomodoro sauce. I hand sold it because I'm like, Chef, can I please sell this? I know we don't have enough, but let me sell it to my VIPs. So I went around and I'm like, guys, you have to try this. And every single person was like, dude, that is the
blown away.
best pasta I have ever freaking had. So I'll end with this. On Sunday, so this was Thursday, Friday, Saturday, he was at the restaurant. Sunday, I'm there with my friends. I'm making them drinks. They're like, Phil, make us that black Manhattan you love. So I'm back there whooping it up. He comes out from the kitchen and he's like, Phil, I hope it's okay. Here's your brand new menu. The whole menu is redone.
Oh, gosh.
I looked at it. I looked at my friends and
Wow.
I'm like, guys, we just got a whole new menu.
Wow.
And and he's like, if it's not what you want, if it's not, please, no ego. I'll work with you. This is your restaurant. Again, it's like I can't believe that I'm living right now, like going through this. So,
Man,
anyways.
I'm so excited for you.
So I can't wait for you to try it.
Yeah, I'm going to be there. I'm going to be there. But I'm in the same vein. I mean, because I like cooking. It's like a lot of things in life. You said this. If you don't have a passion about it, people will be like, "Oh, I wish I could cook." I'm like, "Do you like cooking?" If you don't like it, you're probably never going to be great
You're
at
not
it.
gonna
It's
do
just,
it. Yeah.
it's like anything, But if you like it, you can get better at it. If you
Yeah.
really like it, and passionate, you can be great at it.
Yeah, you'll obsess over it.
You'll obsess over it. So, I love restaurants at all different levels. We were talking about Mexico City, one of my favorite cities to go to for restaurants. But man, I just love what you're doing, and I'm a hospitality guy. What I realized after a while with restaurants, I love to cook, but I love the entertaining aspect.
Yeah.
That's really what I liked. It really wasn't the other aspects of it.
Right.
Like I didn't want to be in business doing that.
Yeah.
My grandfather's like, "I'll stake you." We could have done it.
I mean,
but
no
I'm
one-
like,
no
but I
one-
wasn't passionate enough to do. I knew it wasn't
Right.
my path. But to this day, I don't cook all the time, but I do. By one of two things: either I really want something, like just randomly, I really want someone to make it,
Yeah.
or I'm entertaining, and it's
Yeah.
just the idea of bringing everybody together and people enjoying great food and
Yeah.
great people. And I'll end with this. Frank Sinatra was asked one time, they said, "Frank, what's your favorite place?" So Francis Albert Sinatra, Hoboken, New Jersey, shout out to Jersey. Just in
Jersey
case
Shore.
nobody knew. Just in case nobody knew. But he said this. He said, well, they were like, "What's your favorite place to be?" And he said, well, they're like, is it Vegas? Is it Palm Springs? Is it New York? Is it, Tuscany? Is it Florence? Where is it? And he just leaned back. They said he took a sip of his drink. He put it down and had a drag of his cigarette. He goes, "Let me tell you the best place to be. The best place to be is with your friends and family."
Yeah.
It doesn't matter where, but with those people, that
Yes.
is always the best. With that, they do a quick salute, another drink,
like
and then
it.
they probably hung out for another couple hours.
Yeah,
But it is the
that's cool.
truth.
It is
the
that's-
truth, because at the end of the day, at the end of life, and I've been there with a lot of people, more than I wish to count, people are going to miss people. Their prayers, their concerns, what they're most thankful for is people. And so we're in alignment with like
great.
just serving people, loving people. So keep up the good work. Thank you for being here today. I hope you guys got some value from this. And I do want to let you have one last word.
Okay.
If you want to speak to one last word of like to the person who's out there who maybe be in between right now and they're trying to decide, it might even be inspired so far, like I need to make a shift, but I'm where you were, Phil. Maybe it's in family. It's just I know there's something new coming. What would you say to them?
I would say pray, come up with a good game plan, and do it. That's it. That's the secret, is actually do it, have sense of urgency, know that you might not have all the answers right now, but if you pray and you surround yourself with the right people and you wake up and do good every day, you will succeed and you will find a way to make it happen.
That's good. I got nothing to add to that, but yes and amen. Preach, brother. Well, listen, we will see you in Scottsdale next time you're out here. If you're watching this, if you do live here or you're traveling, make sure you hit the Belmont. If you don't know where it is, you call me. I'll make sure you get linked up. But Phil, thank you so much. God bless you, brother.
All right, thank you.
All right, see you. That's a wrap.